Episode 64, Wayfaring Stranger.
Okay, get ready to go live. Camera one. Go camera one. Ready, camera two. Going live.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, now from deep in the darkest forests of northern Minnesota, the show you've waited for. This is Grizzly's Loud. And I am honored to present our host, the man, the mystery, the legend. This is Grizzly.
Welcome back. You'll notice I've returned to the old intro, at least for this episode. I might even stick with it. Seems to me as a minor local celebrity, the old intro is more on point. And by the way, that phrase, the man, the mystery, the legend, that I actually picked that up from a bit Michael Richards did way back in the day on a TV show called Fridays, which was an attempt by another network, I think it was ABC, to compete with the popularity of Saturday Night Live at the time. Of course, Fridays didn't do many shows, so if you find any episodes out there on the web, they might well have that particular bit in it. Part 1. Bliss is ignorance. I made my more or less usual rounds of the karaoke bars this week. Only a couple of things of note happened. At Champs, there was a big gathering of camp counselors there. For what reason, I have no idea. Other than the obvious reason, they wanted to have some beers together. Seemed, though, that a lot of folks thought it was important to come talk to me, which is fine, up to a point. But a number of folks wanted to criticize how I spent my time between beers and between songs, namely playing with my computer, reading email and news groups and whatnot, occasionally looking at a website. Not fine. I know playing with the computer at a bar is unusual. I have the computer there because, quite frankly, drunks bore the crap out of me. Conversation is what I do for money during the day, and I just don't feel like providing free conversation to a bunch of drunks who didn't think to come up with something to entertain themselves, other than more drinking and occasionally pestering me. One fella even wanted to critique my general behavior and demeanor, telling me to my face in the nicest possible way, of course, that I was weird, asking me if I'd been taking my meds and so on. Here's a hint for you, buddy. Ain't no meds for Asperger. I think I went above and beyond the call, being nice about it. I didn't cuss or hit anybody or anything. Even gave the fella the URL for the show. I figure I've spent a year and a half explaining all this stuff already. You want to know? You go listen. You don't want to work that hard? Well, hell, I can't see why I should repeat it all for you. It was a pretty young blonde who wanted to chat. That was a nice change. She wanted to talk politics. I don't want to talk politics. I hate politics. But pretty and blonde and female go a long way to offset the annoyingly political. What is it with me and pretty young blondes, anyway? And as a change from my usual plan, I grabbed some tunes off of Iota Promo Net the other day, found a pretty blonde lady who was also a talented blues singer named Katie King. Seems Katie has, after a 10-year break, come out with a new album called Harry's Fight. I don't know from Harry who, but I figured that this particular tune from the album fits right in about here, called Last Night.
Is this real? Are you true? There's so much love shining through you. Last night I came to see who last night, was it true? 'Cause last night I fell for you. Dreams like you have crossed my mind. But I never knew there was so much to find. Hold me close, you're all I need. Or are you even real? Are you just a dream? Last night, was it true? 'Cause last night I fell for you. Last night, was it true? 'Cause last night I fell for you.
Part 2. Jackos Bellicose, Lachrymose, Comatose. I noticed that after a certain point of intoxication, folks just don't have a sense of how to treat other folks anymore. They may think they're being polite and kind, too, when they're being flat-out ignorant. Of course, I'm no different in that. When I make it obvious I want to be left alone, it might be nice if folks just went ahead and did that. At least make an effort to avoid being rude and insulting in the process. That doesn't seem like it ought to be that hard. Of course, obviously, I do the same sometimes when I've been drinking. Here's the way I think it works. When you're sober, things happen, and you have emotional responses to what happens. That's what you expect. But see, alcohol is directly mood-altering. You have an emotional response, and you instinctively feel that something must have happened to produce that response. All that really happened is you had a couple of beers. You feel happy, you must be doing something fun. You feel sad, you go looking for what you're sad about. You feel angry, someone must have attacked you or insulted you or something. But all that really happened is that your inebriation reached a certain level. You know, I recall a film from back in the day. I believe Jason Robards was in it. He described the 4 stages of intoxication: Jocose, Bellicose, Lachrymose, and Comatose. Now, he described it better than I ever could, but, well, first you get a few beers in you, and you're laughing and joking and loud with your friends, Jocose. And that's what people are paying for when they buy beer. And I understand you aren't really happy. You're drunk. The beer is telling you you're happy. Whether or not you have something to be happy about, who knows? What you'd feel like without the beer, who knows? The next thing you know, you're telling a joke. Someone interrupts your joke to tell their joke, and the fight is on. Bellicose. All of a sudden, you're angry. They're angry. And then you find something to be angry about. Then you find something to be angry about, because there has to be a reason, doesn't there? I mean, if you happen to be good at picking what you're angry about, you could ruin a years-long friendship in one night, because if you're that angry, there must be something serious to be angry about, right? Well, after the argument, if you're still drinking, and you might well be, you feel sad. Lachrymose. Cry your eyes out in the general direction of whoever happens to be handy. You'll also find something to be sad about. Of course, your safest bet is the fight you just had with your best friend and favorite drinking buddy. You'll also probably feel a bit hurt, because the folks who aren't as drunk as you won't understand why you're so sad, and you won't understand why they don't understand, so it must be that nobody understands you. So this is probably about the same time you decide to find some total stranger to go and have sex with, because if your friends don't understand you, you might as well sleep with a stranger. Unfortunately, as Shakespeare put it, strong drink enhances the desire but diminishes the performance, or words to that effect. You may actually end up somewhere where you can have sex, but fairly early on in the process, as drunk as you are, you'll reach the fourth stage of inebriation, comatose. Again, if you've been there, you know you aren't really asleep. The beer just makes you think you're sleeping. You're really passed out unconscious. And you wake up the next day and you can't figure out why you did all that. And of course, you'll never do all that again, right? But if you did it once, you quite likely will do it again, because you didn't go through any of those four stages for any reason other than the beer or whatever. And the only way to avoid the stages after the first stage is to avoid the beers after the first beer, or at least maybe the first couple. And only occasionally do I manage to accomplish that neat trick. Bliss is ignorance. You know that, I know that, everybody knows that. The reason I'm getting all preachy about it is I don't know any better than anybody else. I'll do the same damn things all over again. Now, this particular week, I ended up stressed out after champs because of the drinking, combined with the pestering from the peanut gallery. At least this time I didn't attempt a live feed on Stickam, but I still feel like I owe it to someone, but I think I can restrain myself. As a rule, when I go to Android on Friday after going to champs on Thursday, I do a bit better. I'm still hungover from Thursday, so by Friday I really don't feel like drinking that much beer again. I may well drink just as much, but there's at least a chance I won't. And it's usually quieter at Android, which helps, and I usually sing better when I'm not too very drunk, and so I end the night feeling better overall. Well, now that I got that off my chest, let's take a break, get a little Lachrymose with Katie King, doing an old standard from her Harry's Fight album, Wayfaring Stranger.
I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world below. There is no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright land to which I go. I'm going there to see my father and all the loved ones who've gone on. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over home. I know dark clouds will gather round me. I know my way is hard and steep, but beauty is filled arise before me, where God redeems their vigils keep. I'm going back to see my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over home. I'm just going over home.
Part 3. I should have known better. One thing I've been able to do recently that hasn't worked before is posting to Usenet groups. Haven't done that in a long while. And in particular, I always liked alt.callahans best. It started out as a group for fans of Spider Robinson's books about Callahan's Crosstime Saloon. They have a moderately formal structure, especially for an alt group, but they usually have something interesting to talk about and make no bones about saying what they think. They're nice folks. Anyway, I gather there's been a big Supreme Court decision recently about whether the Constitution protects individual firearm ownership. I don't know from the details, but being me, I had to jump in and add my 2 cents worth to the discussion anyway. Didn't have anything to say that was entirely right or entirely wrong. It's one of those topics. If somebody has anything to say about it, they probably feel strongly about it. I marginally rethought what I originally said, but I don't think it was too very wrong either. Apparently the Supreme Court disagrees with me. Isn't the first time, won't be the last. But you know, I really ought to have learned by now how unhappy it makes me to argue about politics. It gets me all stressed and anxious. It gets everybody else all stressed and anxious, and people arguing about politics almost invariably end up saying really hurtful things to each other. I really don't know anybody well enough to argue politics with them. My way of political activism is generally to pick someone I trust, or if there's no such person available, I pick the least crazy person who's running, and then do the mechanical stuff to help get them elected. I let them do the arguing about politics. I hate it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to watch or listen to other folks doing it. It makes me unhappy and it stresses me out. So why is it every time I end up in political arguments anyway? Stupid? Crazy? Both? Anyway, the upside of spending time on alt.callahans is that I got to turn more folks onto Mur Lafferty's Heaven series. Seems instead of discussing politics, they were discussing religion, and somebody mentioned hell, and I thought, Heaven! Yeah, being fans of Spider Robinson, I think they'll enjoy Mur Lafferty. I mean, hey, it couldn't hurt. Part 4, and I'm out. That's all I've got to say about that. I've still got to get the last piece of biography of a grizzly recorded today, or I should anyway. And then I've still got the laundry to do. I think I have dishes left in the sink too. Now, if I were a big celebrity, I could have my staff, my posse, or my entourage handle that for me, but no such luck. Maybe if I win the Powerball. I forgot to check the Powerball numbers for Saturday. I'll have to look into that. I'm going to have Katie King finish up the show with the title tune from her CD, Harry's Fight. I'm still wondering Harry who. I'll include the appropriate links in the show notes as per usual. So unless I've already won valuable prizes, talk at you later. Thank you very much for listening to Grizzly's Growls, the life and times of a minor local celebrity. If you like the show, we'd like to hear from you. Create your own comment at the website hosted by Liberated Syndication at grizzly.libsyn.com. Participate with a call to our comment line at 206-202-1548 or an email to grizzliesgrowls@gmail.com or in our Facebook group. And motivate others to listen. If you like the show, tell your friends. If you don't like the show, tell your enemies. This program is sponsored by donations from people just like you. Donations, whether large or small, are appreciated through the donate buttons on the Grizzlies Growls websites or via the link in our show notes. Talk at you later. This show is released under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial, No Derivatives license.
One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. This old world, it ain't for me. It's not what it was meant to be. You know I struggle in my mind. This old world, it ain't for me. You see, the fighting never ends, and peace is too slow to begin. This web is tangled up inside. This old world, it ain't for me. I know you gotta go, my friend. It's so hard for me to say goodbye. I know you gotta do what you think you gotta do, but know that I'll miss you. The flowers blooming every day, they're begging me to come and stay. These clouds are talking me right up. Oh, this old world, it ain't for me. Veins, it flows through me and eases my pain. The rhythm saturates my soul. A melody can make you whole. Miles Davis, he knew how. Coltrane and Evans, holier than thou. Wayne Shorter says it another way. Music is the only reason to stay. The only reason to stay. I know you gotta go, my friend. It's so hard for me to say goodbye, and I know you gotta do what you think you gotta do, but know that I'll miss you. Now I see black and black is white. I no longer have to fight this fight. You keep the swing and you stay strong. But now for me, I'm traveling on. For me, I'm traveling on.